Okay, hopefully we've had some broadcast action resumed here on our live stream feed. We're going to have a little bit of a quality drop here for anybody who happens to fire on over to this live stream channel. In fact, it looks like it's hardly working at all. As I watched the stream, I was able to Alt-Tab out and fire it up, but it looks like it is running with some problems. Interesting that I have broadcasted here personally in the past and had this same problem actually at this track at night. So I'm not sure what it is that either my game or the Livestream Procaster does not like about this track here at night, but well, I don't know what to tell you. I guess we're just going to have to live with it in the meantime. So we're going to try to get whatever type of broadcast we can in here for you, and at least some of our guys out on track at the moment might have the opportunity to get out there and come back and watch the broadcast sometime at their convenience. Al, you there by chance on audio? Thought I heard you momentarily there. Interesting also, as we try to get whatever pictures we can in here to you, that I do have some XD telemetry stuff pop up on the screen that shouldn't be possible when running Procaster. I took that file out of my GTR2 folder, but for some reason it's still up there and working, so that's the Twitch stream is also working. So are you getting just audio through there? Yeah, I think Al has actually dropped from the server, so certainly those pictures won't likely still be going. Okay, well, in any event, I was able to Alt-Tab out and start this. Your broadcast quality is going to be horrendous because it hasn't been optimized for this, but we'll give you what we can. And the storylines for this race, as we are in our timed qualifying session here, is, well, you're watching one of them right now. Bryan Mongrain, part of this 05 Motorsports team, currently at the top of that team classification we talked about over there on Twitch before we went down. Really well and truly in this championship, Bryan Mongrain. I don't know if you can see it on our broadcast pictures, but very wide there through Rouge, almost lost it. Very important piece of this 05 Motorsports puzzle in that team classification, alongside the aforementioned John Sportelli, also there on Twitch TV, now filling in for David Poole. So interesting turn of events there. We can click over briefly, see that timing and scoring. Well, I can anyway. Eiran Parsons has gone to the top of this timesheet. It's very interesting. I'm getting some XD information coming through on this broadcast that should not be possible. As we watch Juan Monroy now navigating, looks like Stabilo. Currently P3 with that 2:18.7 lap. Very nice lap. You know, many of these guys have actually been pretty close on lap times. I think we've had the opportunity to run this track so often here that these guys are really kind of coming to grips, and these times are more and more becoming closer and closer together as these pilots really are able to figure out the best lines around this very difficult, tricky circuit. For anybody just jumping over from that Twitch broadcast, we apologize it went down. We were able to resume some type of broadcast, though our pictures are, well, let's say less than quality. And we obviously have some type of odd flashing going on there, so do not attempt to adjust your set. The problem is on our end. But we'll get you whatever pictures we can to try to make sure that you have some knowledge of what's going on here in this very intriguing last round of the Season 20 Championship. Of course, we have our timed qualifying session, a qualifying race just after this time session, and next week's feature race, and that'll be it for Season 20. So everything on the line here tonight. So yeah, we'll get whatever pictures we can, and hopefully some of the guys that have put such hard work into this Season 20 Championship will at least get to be up on the screen somewhat and have some of their names mentioned, because these guys have done just a bang-up job putting in all this time and effort here for around NAGP and all this gentlemanly racing that we have going on here. So kudos to all the guys out on track. Really, everybody's going to walk away from this season a winner, I think. Certainly is in my mind. So all of our pilots around here are what makes NAGP, and we sure appreciate you all coming out. So Mike Monahan currently on board with Mike Monahan getting that Corvette quite loose there through Stavolo. Mike Monahan currently 9th. It is nice having that XD feature up, actually, at least on my end. I can see the names and the time, so it should also be mentioned with the alt tabbing we have done here to try to get some sort of broadcast up. There's a possibility I could crash as well at any second, so but we'll stay alive as long as we possibly can, and watch Mike Monahan begin to circulate around here to get on a time lap. Now we'll watch the second part of Team Columbia here, part of that four-way battle for the team classification, as he is coming up to La Source. And looks like actually he's perhaps really off the pace. Yes, indeed. So Juan Monroy will not be getting in a timed lap. That he is going to be not going to help him out any. Not going to advance past P3 at this point. That's for sure. Andres Prieto on an out lap and negotiating traffic. Esteban Palacio in some of that same traffic. Currently P5, and he is going to lose quite a bit of time trying to get around some of that slower traffic. As mentioned, it can be hard to tell who is hot lapping and who is not when everybody has their lights turned on here in this night session. Alex White not on a timed lap himself, but will be shortly, just as soon as he gets through La Circus and comes down the start-finish straight. Boy, those pictures are really crappy. Strobe effect. Alex White having some problems there off the source. He will actually lose a little bit of time through that first sector, not getting fully up to speed entering a Rouge. Alex White with a full 80 kilograms of weight ballast on that BMW Z4 here for this race, this qualifying session and qualifying race. It'll remain to be seen just how much that may slow him down. Of course, currently P6. Well, that is not P1 at the moment. And any points, guys like Andres Prieto, second in our driver classification, it will certainly be a welcome news. Andres Prieto currently 3 positions ahead of Alex White on our provisional scoring. As we take a look at Alex's first sector time here, he is 3.5 tenths off the pace so far on this lap. So Alex White, yet a little bit of work to do. For anybody just joining us, let's make sure we remind you that we did have a problem with our Twitch broadcast feed. So we did a quick song and dance and switched over to some type of broadcastable pictures for you. They're pretty bad. And but we wanted to get something up there for you anyway to continue our coverage of the 10th round of the Season 20 Championship. So we got what we got. Alex White quickly approaching this second sector split here, just off this turn, Blanchimont. and runs it quite wide and a full 8/10 off the pace. I see, however, Andres Prieto has better to time somewhere out there. That'd be through Sector 1. It looked like a couple tenths up on what would be that pole time. So Andres Prieto looking to make some noise here and make a run at this provisional pole position. As a reminder, anybody who does lock out that pole position will start from that position in our feature race, as well whoever locks in our second best time here in this session. Those two guys will start at the front next week. However, everyone else will have to race their way in our qualifying race to follow. Hopefully Al will be able to get back in the server and we can get that Twitch feed back up and running for you so your pictures are pretty. Andres Prieto really laying down the power out of the bus stop, getting it a little wiggly. And he has been showing some fantastic speed here in the week of qualifying. Nice clean entry into La Source, but ooh, runs it right out to the wall and steams down the front straight. This could be a good time. Indeed, 17-2, bettering Eiran Parsons by a full 6/10 of a second. Nice, clean lap by Andres Prieto. I think that might be a tough one to get down to. Eiran Parsons on an out lap, so he's going to have a few minutes to think about that and see that on his telemetry. Marty Uren also in an Audi now. Not only, of course, in that Audi, but as a member of Kung Fu Racing, currently second in the team classification. So, important points on offer here for Marty Uren. Marty Uren looking nice through Stavelo. Little lift through Blanchimont, puts him 6/10 of a second off the pace, but that 2:17.2 by Andres Prieto, one hell of a lap. So Eiran Parsons, the only other driver in the 17s with that 17.8. Esteban Palacio now through that no-name corner, heading into Pool Hall. 4/10 of a second off of Andres' pace, however, not too bad, really. I think Andres really made quite a bit of hay here in the second sector, however. I think that's really where he made up the majority of his ground in that Audi, because that Audi is a very good performer in this second sector, and the Corvette should really not be a match for it. Esteban Palacio coming up to Blanchimont, and that second split. Nice clean entry and exit, but yeah, full second off that provisional pole time, but still about on his best lap time. Actually a little bit better. So possibility for Esteban to get a little bit better, and boy, the times at those high 18s that Esteban is currently on are all quite tight. So really anybody who can knock a few tenths off those mid 18s will pick up quite a few spots here. And down to the line will not be good enough. Esteban giving up another 8/10 of a second there in that last sector. He's not going to be happy with that. No doubt he has more speed than that in the last sector. Chris Moses now has jumped up the timing sheets a bit, now running fourth. Check out championship leader Alex White now out on an out lap. Alex White currently running P7, a full 1 7/10 of a second off of the pole time. So Andres Prieto really in the catbird seat for pick up points at this moment on Alex White, and these guys are going to have to start putting in their best laps if they haven't already, as qualifying is now about 26 minutes old. 23 minutes old, excuse me, so more than halfway through this qualifying session. And it takes a long time to get a timed lap in around this place. Let's take an opportunity to get you caught up on some of your other drivers as we do have some time here. It's easy to get locked in on those front runners sometimes. But this is a front runner currently running in the P9th position, Bryan Mongrain. He's going to want to better that time. Bryan at a 19.2, no doubt he has better pace in the car than that for sure, but I wonder if this nighttime qualifying is catching Bryan Mongrain out a little bit. Having trouble picking up some of those brake markers as indeed coming into the bus stop. Very poor line through the first part of that chicane. The second part of Chow Mein Moto now. Mike Monahan currently in 10th. Mike Monahan, an important piece of that championship puzzle for those guys. And boy, it looks like he's got a headlight out or for some reason. I'm not sure what's up with that. So Mike Monahan currently on an outlap. John Sportelli, we talked about John filling in for David Poole in that 05 Motorsports team. John currently in the pits and in 11th spot. Christian Hamilton on an outlap in that Lamborghini. Christian Hamilton showing fine pace in the practice session. That Lambo holds the top 3 best laps of all time here at Spa. If I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that I remember seeing that. So top 3 best ever laps here. The Lambo's obviously a very good performer around this place. Marco Conti also showing some nice speed in the week of practice, and it has to be said in our mid-season GT1 event, looking very strong there in the Lamborghini GT1. So Marco Conti, no stranger to Spa. Rodrigo Triana there in P14, currently in the pits, also in a Lamborghini. Johnny Lugnuts looking currently at a mid-pack start here for our qualifying race there in P15. Going to have to protect that time there, Johnny. Going to want to better that position here if you don't want too many people to jump past you. There's always better laps out there. Always guys are going to be looking to better that time. Kevin Miller looking relatively strong there in P16. Had a big slide there off Blanchemont, as we can see. Kevin Miller putting in some fine results over the course of this season. Would have had quite a few more had he been able to finish off some of the events where he was running quite high. But nonetheless, a very nice season Kevin Miller's been on in that Viper. Oops. Lou Masciarelli looking pretty sharp here in the 17th position currently. Not too shabby, all things considered. Be running mid-pack around this crew. Jaime Mor in P18. You'd have to think that Jaime Mor would be a little disappointed with that time currently. We've seen some great speed from Jaime over the course of this season. Relative newcomer here at NAGP, still getting his NAGP legs, I think, firmly planted underneath him. Jaime Mor, a real possibility this guy's going to have a breakout season next season. And John Houston, boy, I tell you, John Houston's results this season have not been anywhere near he would like to see them for sure. John, really integral part of that TVROK Dam Bam team last season. Just, I don't think has really come to grips with this Ford GT yet this season. Still, of course, this race to go, and yeah, I suppose you never know. However, we have seen one fine run by John Houston, and if we look quickly at the points, maybe I can come up with that quickly. best points position at, oh, yeah, Zandvoort, just a couple weeks ago. Had a few other nice runs going, just couldn't quite finish them off. Jon Wathen, also has to be said, a disappointing season for Jon Wathen. Just hasn't had quite the practice time he would have liked this season, unfortunately, in that Mustang. So hopefully we'll have the opportunity to see Jon Wathen back and running strong again next season. Gregory Myers down in P22. You have to think Gregory Myers has not had a lot of practice this week, or else we would see him a little further up the timesheets. Tomas Schubeck of Panzer Faust Racing out in that Viper here tonight. Haven't seen Rich Roman. Rich Roman may have not made this event here tonight. Hopefully he's able to make our feature race next week. He will, of course, if he does not qualify tonight, he'll have to start at the back of those qualified cars. So, Brian Storey, Kevin Miller's teammate, of course, has not had the type of season he would like either. Brian Storey certainly we've seen more than capable of finishing strong. I don't know that the Viper has suited Brian Storey this season. I don't think it has, honestly. Phil Hooks. Phil Hooks has been around a bit more again this season. Great to see Phil out there. Also not the results that he would like yet, but after that long layoff, not too surprising really to jump right back into the middle of this very competitive GT2 list of pilots. So no doubt Phil will get back up on it starting next season as well. Chuck Carter in the second part to Jon Wathen in that Ford Mustang. Sharp looking car. Chuck Carter has not come through with the results he would like either this season, but has also put together a few runs which have elicited some points finishes. Dan Wilkerson, newcomer Dan Wilkerson. He's been getting plenty of practice in here, and for sure he's a guy that is searching for his NAGP legs, and I think this guy's going to find a real dedication to hanging around, a real asset to the NAGP community, and I think that he is going to be posting some points finishes before too long. And Matt Taylor, another newcomer. Now we've seen Matt Taylor with some pretty good speed, but more than speed, Matt Taylor has had great consistency. This guy rarely DNFs. And that's just the way to go about doing it. You want to start gaining some speed, the first thing you got to do is keep the darn thing on track. And boy, those points finishes will come if you keep it on track and take that checkered flag. So good on you, Matt Taylor. Let's try to get you caught up here on some of the action going on with our overall times. The track temperature, I think, has crept up a little bit now. 102 degrees Fahrenheit out there. That shouldn't be a problem. These guys are going to be wanting to run soft tires. And with the long lap, that can be a little difficult, but I don't think it'll be too much of a problem if they're just running single laps. So, not too much has changed up toward the front. Andres Prieto has bettered his time, however, by about a tenth. Eiran Parsons, too, by about a tenth. However, that still leaves him about 6/10 in arrears to that provisional pole time to Andres Prieto. So, not good enough by Eiran Parsons yet. Marty Urin remains in third. However, Bryan Mongrain has put in a great time, now running in the low 2:18s. So Bryan Mongrain, P4, as we run at the moment. So 13 minutes left in qualifying one. These guys are looking at about 3 timed laps remaining. 3 timed laps, and that is going to be it. We better take note quickly of Alex White as well and keep an eyeball on him relative to Andres Prieto in that driver's classification. Alex White, P6. So no bonus points for Alex White at the moment. Andres Prieto on a hot lap, and he is 3.5 tenths off of his best lap. Eiran Parsons just ahead of him, coming now through Pujol. Boy, tough test for that Andres 2:17.1. Andres on a real mission, has got some real dedicated practice in this week, knowing that he needs to do absolutely everything right here this qualifying race and the feature race next week if he expects to have a shot at this Season 20 championship, and boy, he wants it. Eiran Parsons really close to that second split. Less than 0.2 of a second off that Andres Prieto pace, and I tell you, Eiran Parsons has always gotten through this third sector very well. A lot of braking, a lot of clean entry required in this sector. Eiran Parsons does those probably about as well as anybody in the entire league. And Eiran Parsons comes down to the stripe. It is not going to be enough. He betters his time to 2:17.5, but he's going to have to find another 0.4, and he's going to have to find it quickly. Eiran's looking at about 2 more timed laps out there on track. So 2 shots left. 2 bullets in the gun. Chris Moses also having some good practice time and looking to make a strong run here after a dismal Season 20 run here for Chris Moses. Just absolutely dreadful here the last couple 3 weeks, scoring all but about 1 point in the last 3 events. 1 point in 3 events for Chris Moses. No, that's not so good. So I think that Chris will really be looking to make a statement here tonight in similar equipment to that Andres Prieto machine, so he knows that there should be some more time in it as he will begin his hot lap here. Alex White on a hot lap. Coming down into... Oh! Just coming through, yeah. Alex White approaching that first timing sector. And 0.3 off. We have seen him worse than that, so perhaps he's has the opportunity here to better his time. His next position is Chris Moses, so he'll need a full 0.2 to get, if he wants to bump Chris from that top 5. Again, I don't think there's anybody that has joined us recently, but just in case there has been, let us remind you that we know our pictures are rubbish, but we want to do the best that we can heading into our 30-minute qualifying race. Hopefully we can get Al Marimon back in here, get those Twitch pictures back up, and get them nice and pretty for you. Now let me go ahead and ask, Al, are you in this channel by chance? Okay, don't have any feedback from Al Marimon, but hopefully he's keeping apprised of the situation, trying to sort out his problems there, and if not, well, we'll just do the best we can. Alex White having a problem into the bus stop, gets it all wrong, and he is looking at just 1 more lap. So Alex White, 1 bullet in the gun. Eiran Parsons on his out lap. I suppose, now that I look at it, Eiran may have 2 shots yet. He should get around to the stripe quickly enough, actually, to get 2 timed laps in here. So hopefully he's calculated this time correctly here to take those last couple shots. I know you can't really see that timing and scoring on your screen, but it kind of helps me get through the field here and see who's where and who we might be able to get a camera on. So Esteban Palacio holding strong really with a P7, currently provisionally 7th. I'll get it out eventually in that Corvette. Really a fine run in that Corvette. Probably not the strongest performer relative to some of the guys around him. But Esteban handling it nicely. So currently on an outlap is Esteban Palacio. We do know that Eiran Parsons is on a hot lap and now nearly 3/10 off of Andres Prieto's time. Oh, and almost getting it wrong there through Pujol. Holds on to it. Oh, we see a Corvette parked on the side of the road there. Don't know if that was Esteban or Mike Monahan. I think it was one of the two. More traffic coming off the Stablo there. I don't think that was Chris Moses or... Whoa! That's some contact with a... That was either Chris Moses or Gup Douglas, and that is going to scrub off Eiran's lap. Eiran will have time for one more. Andres Prieto on an outlap. 6 minutes left to go. Bryan Mongrain on an outlap, and without any headlights on. Going to be tough to see. Chris Moses comes through the first split just a couple, 2.5 tenths off of the pole time, and that is looking pretty strong. Chris Moses with a chance to really elevate his position late in this session. So Chris Moses of our front runners, currently the only one on a timed lap here. And he just may, if he gets to the line quickly enough, have time for another timed lap, but it's sure going to be close. He's going to want to make this one count. I missed that second timing split. Coming up now to La Source. Just may barely have time for another timed lap, but I'm not sure. Chris usually good with that math. And Chris Moses does not advance. His current position, P5. And indeed, Chris Moses in and clicks that drive button quickly. We'll see if he manages to get another timed lap in. I know that he believes he's got more in it. Esteban Palacio currently in that P7 spot. We'll check back with Esteban here shortly. Alex White is just now coming out of the pits. I don't think Alex is going to have enough time to get a timed lap in. Andres Prieto is starting his final timed lap. Check back in with Esteban Palacio as he comes through that second split. Esteban 2 seconds off the pace is not going to do it. Andres Prieto coming through this no-name corner. And at the split, he is 0.4 of a second off of his pace thus far. Eiran Parsons coming down the Kemmel Straight. Marty Urin starting his final timed lap. Getting it, taking advantage of the curves over Eau Rouge. Bryan Mongrain coming through Blanchimont. Was that 4/10 off the pace I saw? That's pretty good if it was 4/10 off. Better stay on. Oh, with some traffic in front. Oh, a nice line through La Source. Bryan Mongrain jumps to P3, 2:17.7. Nice lap, Bryan. Wow, he's got to be happy with that one to finish off the session. He is not going to have enough time to lock out one of those two front rows, but he's in a great spot to start this qualifying race. The opportunity to grab some points for that 05 Motorsports squad as well. Eiran Parsons 7/10 off. So Eiran Parsons will not improve his P2 time. Marty Uren, I think we'll have time for this timed lap. And I'm looking for Chris Moses. I just don't know that Chris is... Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, maybe. Marty Uren well off coming through Blanchimont there. So Marty Uren will do no better than P4. Andres Prieto has parked it. Eiran Parsons has parked it. Marty Uren's going to park it. So I think it's up to Chris Moses here really to spoil the party. Alex White's still on track as well, it should be mentioned. I can't quite see where he's at yet. Oh, teammate David Ralli spins in front of him. Well, even if he could have got that lap in, it's... Chris Moses has parked it. So obviously pushing too hard. And Chris Moses no better than P5. Boy, for our top spots, I think that's going to do it because David Ralli getting balked by his teammate there and running short on time certainly will not contend for any of these top 5 positions, I don't believe. Yeah, 1.6 seconds off. Whoa. What? Wow. Okay, I'm not even going to comment on that. I know that it was difficult to see on your pictures, but we've had some type of collision between teammates there coming into the bus stop. Okay, Marco Conti, he will not finish off his lap. Jon Sportelli running in P13. I have to say that's a little surprising. Not sure just how much practice Jon Sportelli has gotten in, but I know he's had at least a couple days' notice to get that Ferrari up the pace here. It just quite hasn't happened, so... he's still coming up to La Source. I can't imagine that. No, ran out of time indeed. So, there you have it. Al, you still around by chance? Anything happening there, buddy? Okay, don't hear anything from Al Miramont. So, there you have it. Andres Prieto and Eiran Parsons have locked out their position for next week's feature race. An exciting turn of events. That Andres Prieto time is amazing. 2:17.1 will put Andres Prieto not only on pole, but pick him up a bonus point toward that Season 20 championship, not only for himself, but for Team Columbia. So, a great run for Andres Prieto. Congratulations to him, as well as Eiran Parsons for locking out that front row for next week's feature race. The rest of the guys will have to run their way in over the course of this half-hour session, half-hour qualifying session. So, Bryan Mongrain, great lap there right toward the end of qualifying to get into the 17s himself. A 2:17.7 for Bryan Mongrain. Marty Uren will take 4th with a 2:18.1, and Chris Moses will take 5th with an 18.2. But the proof of the pudding for those guys is going to be this 30-minute qualifying race. So them. Yeah, these guys are all going to be fighting for not only that grid position next feature race, but some of the points on offer in this feature race. So our winner of our sprint race here tonight will collect 3 points, our second place runner 2, and our last podium spot will collect 1 extra bonus point toward that Season 20 championship. Give me half a second here, and let's see if we can fire up a second IP here. Boy, you know, I got to think that Al Miramon his computer has completely crashed in some way, shape, or form. He certainly would have gotten back on at least the voiceover IP. So Al Miramon's not going to be with us. We're just going to do the best possible job we can on our pictures. Look, we all know that they're crap, but we're just going to do the best job that we can with them and at least keep you updated on who's running where. So again, we want to thank all our drivers here as we head into our final round of our Season 20 championship for participating this season. You should be proud of yourselves for all the time and work that you put in around here, and hope you had some great racing along the way. There's generally always somebody to race with up and down these grids, and for our front runners, thanks for coming along, but for all the rest of us too, it's great to have you here, and hope you had a great Season 20. Hope to see you back for Season 21, and we mentioned it a little bit, that the times have become pretty tight on this track for our season finales, and the times may look like they're spread out a little bit. Marty Uren running in the 2:18.1s in P4, Tomas Schubeck in the low 2:20s in P21, but given the length of the track, those are some pretty darn close times. So fine driving out there. A whole group of guys there in the 2:19s. So these guys are going to be, it's going to be a battle royale. And in fact, driver special note, we should mention Mike Greatrex has put in a great run there to P15. So great job, Mike. Good to see you up there. And our warm-up session is wet. So an interesting turn of events there, possibly, as we wash the groove off of this track for our 30-minute sprint race. Now, it should be noted as well that this obviously our broadcast pictures are not only bad, but have not been optimized to run as well as they can. So there could be quite a bit of chop as we run a full grid here at Spa. So we run some inclement weather here and a 30 driver grid or more. It's really going to be bad until they space themselves out a little bit. It has been a very challenging season for your broadcast crew. We are just so thankful to have you viewers tuning in. I can promise you that there's almost no way we can have as many technical problems next season as we have this season. So please hang with us. I promise we're going to get these things sorted out and make sure we get you some good quality pictures, ones that even perhaps hold up an entire race length. I think that it will happen. It just couldn't have been any worse this season. I really appreciate you still tuning in despite our problems. So here we go. Our warm-up session is wet, which is probably a good thing should our race happen to be wet as well. We'll have the opportunity, these pilots will have the opportunity to get a little wet session practice. And if you can manage to struggle through these pictures, I think we're in store for some great action on track in this 30-minute sprint race. As mentioned, not only are the times very tight, but these guys are really going to be fighting for these championship points. Particularly Andres Prieto. Now, he certainly has shown incredible single lap pace, but that doesn't mean too much when it comes to a 30-minute session, let alone a 45-minute session next week. his main rival in this Drivers' Championship, Alex White, will be starting from the 7th position for our sprint race. So Alex White will be completely out of the points, and he's going to have a tough time scoring any with the kind of talent that's in front of him. And you know that those guys aren't going to want to give up into any points either. But just behind Alex White, you can expect him to have quite a bit of pressure behind from the Chow main moto squad of Esteban Palacio and Mike Monahan, as they are well and truly in the thick of that team title. And they're going to want to try to get past Alex White, not only take points away from that team, but try to get into the points themselves. So everybody's going to be scrambling for some positions here and looking to get to the front in a short space of time. So it was the second half of this broadcast duo, which is to say my mistake, for actually not having optimized this stream and be ready to go in case we did have a problem last week. We were able to have a backup ready to go and kind of optimized for streaming as well as we could anyway. But unfortunately, technical problems of a different sort really plagued us there last week. So those pictures went down for you for a completely different reason. And we are preparing to wrap up our warm-up session and move into that 30-minute qualifying race. Here are just about 30 seconds to go. And haven't scrolled through a lot of this field, but the guys that have scrolled through have actually looked like the cars look pretty confident out there, it has to be said. Pretty stable from some of the front runners we've seen anyway. So of course all these guys not strangers to the challenging conditions. They wouldn't be in the positions they are in these classifications if they weren't. Yeah, it will be very interesting if we do have some inclement weather. Some guys will be quite a bit stronger given the nature of their cars, handling characteristics, and the tires that are underneath them. And the fact of the matter is that some guys are simply stronger in the wet than others. Boy, cold track out there too. Wow, it is even colder and still wet. So, a rainy Spa for our 30-minute sprint race. We're going to take a frame hit. Expect some chop on that broadcast as well as the disco flashing. You guys are troopers. Unbelievable. But, darn it, we're going to get this race in and we're going to get you what pictures we can. Good thing we had that warm-up period in the wet, gave these guys a few laps to kind of feel out the cars a little bit. Hopefully they're able to keep it clean up front and toward the middle of the pack. We've had some fantastic starts here the last couple weeks. Really hope that continues because small mistakes here, particularly at Eau Rouge and beyond, can cause quite a pile-up and many retirements. So hopefully we don't see any of that. Of course, penalties still on offer headed into our feature race, so these guys are going to want to be very careful of taking a penalty, particularly these guys involved in these team classifications. So off we go. I didn't get a chance to give you the full rundown order. I don't think I'm going to have time to either, but we had the opportunity to watch it in our qualifying session, so we'll get you caught up on that as they get out there running. My mouth tends to run a little bit, and we just missed that a little bit, so sorry about that. Few guys late to the grid here, finalizing their tire choices. The conditions do call for rain, but they don't call for heavy rain. So considering perhaps thinking about intermediate tires maybe and the track drying. Andres Prieto leading from pole position for a 30-minute sprint race. Eiran Parsons off to a slow start. He's going to be giving up some ground up at Rouge. Well handled both by Eiran Parsons and Marty Urin, getting clean up at Rouge as Andre Prieto did not get a bad start. He rockets into the lead. Eiran Parsons looking to take advantage down Kemmel on Bryan Mongrain. Oh, does not complete the pass, but Marty Urin and Chris Moses get together. Coming through Kemmel. That has backed the field up. Now Alex White off into the kitty litter. Alex White is going to slip down the order. Oh, take it back. That was teammate David Ralli. Running close on positions there. So Jon Wathen now up into the 4th position, fighting hard with the aforementioned Alex White. Alex White looking to gain some ground, pick up some points on Andres Prieto. In a tough fight with Jon Wathen, Andres Prieto's teammate, so you know he's going to make it tough on Alex White. Chris Moses survived the incident with with Marty Urin. Don't know how he managed to hold on to that 6th place, giving up only 1 position. Mike Monahan has taken over the 7th position with John Sportelli making a great run. No doubt taking advantage of some of that contact there between Chris Moses and Marty Urin. So John Sportelli in a nice position with that 05 Motorsports team. Mike Monahan's teammate Esteban Palacio has slipped back to 9th. So Chow Mein Moto currently outside looking in on those bonus points. Alex White working hard on Jon Wathen, and I would have to think even with the weight, Alex White would have the advantage in that BMW Z4 in these conditions. Boy, treacherous conditions. Anything can change out here at any time. Andres Prieto out front and with a little bit of gap is really in a great position to dictate the pace of this race. If Eiran Parsons does happen to get around Bryan Mongrain, that's going to, of course, hurt Bryan Mongrain in 05 Motorsports points position, but will also put some heat on Andres Prieto, as he will not want to give up the points on offer for him out there in the lead. Yeah, we did have a retirement. There's been so much action up here and there toward the front. I wanted to make sure not to miss any of it. Jaime Mor now running in the 10th position. Didn't see his final pull. Oh, Jaime Mor off the wall at a Rouge. And Jaime Mor is going to give up a lot of spots. It looks like he is running on a flat or 2. And, oh, I believe that is John Houston who has come to contact as well with Jaime Mor. Oh, both guys. Tomas Schubeck storms into the 15th position, however, as a result. Action all over the place in these conditions. I see a Corvette. Oh, missing a front clip. Not sure who that was. John Sportelli has made a mistake. Now slid back to P10. He's missing a splitter. Mike Greetrek's up to 11th. Wow, incredible action going on around this race. I apologize so much that our pictures are so bad for you, but we're just going to have to live with it and try to fill you in as best we can here with some commentary. David Ralli had some trouble, falls back to the 12th position. We saw that. Marco Conti started around the 13th position and is currently running there. Tomas Schubeck into the 14th spot, so he'll be looking to make a move up and start from a great position on this grid for our feature race. Matt Taylor as well up to the 15th position. Boy, he was right there toward the back of this grid, and all the hard work for Matt Taylor perhaps paying off in this half-hour race. As we see John Sportelli, yes, he was missing his front clip. That's going to slow him down, sure. Gregory Myers showing a little bit of damage on that Corvette. We saw John Huston's problems tangling there with that Lamborghini, whose name I just forgot, which I apologize for that. Salem Montgomery Jr. now looking to make the move on John Sportelli. Boy, John was in a position to have the possibility anyway to move up into the points. Had certainly done everything he could for starting from that 13th position up to 8th, but it's all come undone. Marty Urin has slipped back to the 20th position, no doubt having to wait a long time for traffic to clear before he can get going again. Gup Douglas in 21st. Daniel Wilkerson picking up a bunch of spots there. P22nd, Brian Storey in P23. Phil Hooks running about where he started there in 24th. Mike Monahan has come to some serious carnage. Mike Monahan completely stoved in front end there on that Corvette. So, Mike Monahan will not be garnering any points tonight for Chow Mein Moto. That's too bad. Johnny Lugnuts has come to some trouble himself there in the Mercedes. Jaime Mor, that was our other problem there. Andres Prieto, however, still out front. Looking at the gap, and I can only watch it on the broadcast here, I think that gap is held pretty steady back to Bryan Mongrain. So I think Andres Prieto has really elected here not to push too hard. Maybe wait to see if Eiran Parsons does get past, though. he has bettered the best time in this race by about 3/10. So maybe just settling into the conditions before he gets back up on the wheel a bit. And by the way, not a bad idea, though I do see a lot of better times coming in now. So track drying, I think, a bit for these guys. We do see it is still wet according to our telemetry, but perhaps a bit of that moisture running off now that we've gotten a few laps in. So Bryan Mongrain still second, and Eiran Parsons still, well, it can't be said Eiran Parsons really is hounding him now at this point. Eiran Parsons probably 6 or 7 tenths off of Bryan Mongrain's bumper, but not quite putting as much heat on, I think, as Eiran Parsons would like. But still in all, Eiran Parsons did put in that second best time in our 45-minute qualifying session. So, whoa, as he takes it very wide off Blanchimont. So he will start from that second position in next week's feature race, more or less no matter what happens, unless he should incur some type of penalty which would move him off of that starting position. No, Alex White has gotten close to those points he so desperately needs to try to stay at the top of this driver championship. Alex White, of course, last season's winner in that classification. Looking to two-peat, however, he is going to have to do some damage, as Andres Prieto already has picked up a championship point in that 45-minute time session and looks to pick up a few more here should he cap off this 30-minute sprint race. Chris Moses looks like he's reeled it back after some of his opening lap fracas there with Marty Urin. So pressure on Alex White now. And I think he should easily get this done coming down Kemmel Straight. Indeed, Alex White not going to contend that position too much. I think Alex White probably will have some pace. If he does have pace, it will certainly be here in this second sector, which they're coming to now. Juan Monroy did slip back a little bit. He was running in front of Alex White, so Juan Monroy back to the 6th position. I think having a little trouble coming to grips, so to speak, in these conditions. Rodrigo Triana has made up some nice ground, currently P8. And boy, you know he would like a nice starting position for next week's feature event. David Ralli up to P9. Now David Ralli had slipped all the way back to 12th. So David Ralli has picked up some positions, and Christian Hamilton. Christian Hamilton performs very well in the wet. We've seen him have some fine runs in inclement conditions. So Christian Hamilton working well. I see we have picked up a few viewers on the broadcast. Again, for those of us joining recently, we've had some technical problems. Had to switch over quickly to this live stream broadcast, and as you can see, our pictures aren't very good. But we're going to go ahead and bring them to you so you have some idea of what's going on out there, and you have the opportunity to get some of you guys who put so much work in the spotlight a little bit, as you all deserve it very much. We appreciate you coming out for the Season 20 Championship, all you drivers who happen to catch this race replay. Mike Greatrex still holding strong in that P11 position. So strong run continues from Mike Greatrex, and he really looks like he is not driving very defensively out there. Really getting the most that he can out of these conditions. So great to see from Mike. Deserved to have a nice run here. Unfortunately, no points on offer in the 11th position, but it'll be a nice boost going into next week's feature race. Marco Conti has picked up a position, and Tomas Schubeck as well has picked up a position, as he fights with the lap car of Jon Sportelli. He'll likely let him go. Indeed he does, as Jon Sportelli likely will have better speed on good tires after coming in for that front splitter repair. Tomas Schubeck up to P13. Again, no points on offer for Thomas, unfortunately, at this point, but as he has now gone to 12th with Christian Hamilton. I think we just propped him up a little bit, driving in wet conditions well, and that's the broadcaster's curse. So Christian Hamilton will give up a position there. Marty Eiran picking up some positions himself after opening lap trouble with Chris Moses. Matt Taylor running a strong 15th still. A little bit of damage to the front of that Porsche, but not slowing him down too much. Salem Montgomery Jr. in the Mosler. Now he has put in some very fine runs this Season 20 Championship, but just hasn't quite been able to seal the deal. So nice to see Salem putting in a nice effort here. Basically, anybody in the top 20 is going to secure themselves a pretty good position for next week's featured race. So order of the day here in the sprint race, just keep yourself on track and try to pick up some positions as your competitors fall out. Gregory Myers has not had a good run here tonight. Gregory Myers was up further than he is at the moment. I think 12th or so. Sporting some damage on that Corvette. Brian Storey running in that top 20 we mentioned, so nice run going for Brian Storey, and Chuck Carter as well. Lou Masciarelli has picked up a few positions, running currently P21. And Dan Wilkerson putting in another yeoman's effort. Dan Wilkerson, as well as Matt Taylor, we mentioned, doing a great job finishing races here at their first full season at NAGP. Hope you guys, Matt Taylor and Dan Wilkerson, have had a good time out here. We've had a good time having you. Oh, hold it on track there, Dan. Gup Douglas having some struggles here in the wet, currently P22. Chris Jackson, newcomer to NAGP as well, has missed a few races this season, but oh, as he throws it off there at, I believe that is Pujol. Mike Monahan has gotten his damage repaired and back out circulating on track, getting some test laps in perhaps for next week's event. Phil Hooks, that Lambo not looking completely clean, but certainly seen more damage in the past from race cars. Jon Sportelli has gotten his damage fixed, now running P27. Johnny Lugnuts. Don't know what happened to Johnny Lugnuts. Usually a very good performer in these conditions. So as a result of having my XD up and working, which it should not be, as mentioned top of our switchover. Uh-oh, I see an update we're going to have here momentarily. But halfway through this session, Andres Prieto now with a nice, comfortable margin. However, it is not a margin over Bryan Mongrain, but now it is a margin over Eiran Parsons, who has picked up that second position. Don't know what happened, but we have to assume that Bryan Mongrain has made some type of a mistake out there. He has slipped back to the third position And that is some news for that 05 Motorsports squad, as they were hanging on to some points up there when Bryan was running in second. Still hanging on to one as they currently run. However, Chris Moses will be putting pressure on him directly, with Alex White lurking just behind. I think Chris Moses will have some pace on Bryan Mongrain, though we didn't see exactly what happened, so that change of order for Bryan Mongrain may have just happened. It may not be due to lack of pace. He may get settled down and pull a gap back out on Chris Moses, but we'll have to see. Really running up there in the bus stop. Chris Moses always very good breaking into that bus stop chicane. Not quite as good as Eiran Parsons generally, but quite good. Yeah, Bryan Mongrain's going to have to do a very good job here getting up the route if he plans on holding Chris Moses that day coming into Kimmel. And a nice run up a rouge for Chris Moses. Indeed, I think he's going to easily sweep past Bryan Mongrain as well. Alex White slipped off a little bit. Alex White could have taken advantage of that. So, 05 Motorsports, as they run, out of any bonus points here tonight. And as we take a quick look at that team classification, they will, as they run, hold on to their points lead, but they sure would like to have extended that, of course, as much as possible, because Team Columbia with Andres Prieto out front will pick up points on them. Yeah, I saw a note on the blinking. Could be XD, it's a possibility. I had blinking problems at Spa in the past, however, only in our nighttime qualifying. Interestingly enough, the XD file will prevent live stream, the Procaster live stream, from operating. So I actually alt-tabbed out twice. Managed to stay connected to the server somehow. Pulled that XD file out of GTR2. However, I still have the telemetry from that XD still up on screen. So very interesting. That file is not in my GTR2 folder. But it's still there and working. So go figure. But in any event, we have a race to run here. Chris Moses getting very wide there through Blanchemont, however, is quickly gapping Bryan Mongrain. That's not too surprising to this broadcaster. Alex White, I just don't think is quite going to have the pace to get up to these guys. But I guess we'll see. But the front runners, as they run, pretty much holding station, unless one of them make a mistake, I should think. Juan Monroy has slipped back to that 6th position. And is holding steady there. He obviously is not quite matching the pace of those front 5. And Esteban Palacios, same as well. However, I can see behind David Ralli now has slipped into the 8th position and is gaining ground on Esteban. So Esteban Palacios, part of that. Oh, and David Ralli gets it all wrong, headed into La Source. And that's certainly going to help out Esteban Palacios. Will give him some breathing room, and now Rodrigo Triana will quickly put some heat on David Ralli. So perhaps some mirror driving there for David Ralli. Looking at that gap coming down to Rodrigo Triana has thrown it off as a result, and we can look back to Mike Greatrex. Mike Greatrex now into the top 10, and what a result this would be for Mike Greatrex if he could cap this off. Marco Conti is actually putting some pressure on Mike Greatrex now, only a couple seconds off. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be alt-tabbing a 3rd time with GTR2. It's just not going to happen. I give myself about a 5% chance of staying connected. So, indeed, Marco Conti quickly up to Mike Gretrex's bumper.
So a good battle shaping up here again. These are not points paying positions, however. These positions will determine our feature race starting order. And there are some fast guys who have gone out of this event. We will be starting toward the back of the runners here tonight. So plenty fireworks left in store for our 2-hour feature event next week. And we have these types of conditions. That's going to be one whale of a time. Boy, what a great season 20 we've had for those viewers who have hung around through our technical problems this season. They couldn't possibly be any worse next, but you have enjoyed one hell of a season. We have seen some tight battles all the way through, on track week to week, and then in our points-paying positions as well. Chris Moses having his troubles here the last 3 events, slipping out of those contention for any of these championships. Some of our tight team battles. Alex White having 2 DNFs this year, but still managing to retain the points title as they run. Very intriguing season 20 championship this has been for these guys, and great racing throughout. So Bryan Mongrain currently still running in that 4th position. Let's take a quick look up here. Look on timing and scoring, see how Eiran Parsons is running relative to Andres Prieto. Now about 3.5 seconds back with 8 minutes left to go, so just some 3 or 4 laps left to play, and our qualifying race will be done. Boy, very interesting now. Maryland is not going to come back into at least the voiceover IP. Whatever troubles he's having, it appears that they continue. As mentioned, he surely would at least jump back in and give us an update on his woes. So, Eiran Parsons currently running 2nd. Chris Moses would like to have gotten more out of this race than he's gotten, but at least is currently running in 3rd position. I don't know that he would really have had the pace to hang up there either with Andres Prieto or Eiran Parsons, at least in the dry. Perhaps in the wet that could have been a different story. Bryan Mongrain holds down that 4th spot, has not been able to gain ground on Alex White. I suspected that perhaps Bryan Mongrain may have a bit of pace on Alex White, but hasn't proven to be the case thus far. Juan Manuel, as you could see, still in 6th. Esteban holding station in 7th. David Ralli has managed to claw back some of that time he lost to Esteban. So David Ralli could figure in for that 7th position here in the next lap or 2. Rodrigo Triana still in 9th. Marco Conti has gotten past Mike Gretrix at some point. We switched off that. Sorry that we missed that pass, but Marco Conti to 10th, Mike Gretrix to 11th. And Mike falling under pressure now from Christian Hamilton in a 3-way battle with lap traffic. I believe that's Marty Urin. Don't know what he's doing getting involved in that fight, being a lap down. But in any event, he is there and giving them something else to think about. Pretty important starting positions for these guys. Not only Christian Hamilton, but Mike Gretrix, as I think Marty Urin was trying to make a move and get up there to get Mike Gretrix. That was ill-advised, as these guys are fighting for positions for the feature race. Okay, I take everything back I just said. Marty Eiran needs these positions, and I apologize to Marty for all of that. I thought Marty Eiran was farther back than that, and all apologies from this broadcaster. Go get him, Marty! Tomas Schubeck has moved up to P13. Tomas Schubeck looking to secure a great starting spot for next week's feature race. Salem Montgomery as well has put in a nice run. Just keeping that Mosler clean and on track, has picked up the 4th position. John Houston as well as, after going back a bit, has reclaimed up to the 15th position. Matt Taylor in 16th, looking strong in that Porsche. Gregory Myers, you can see Lou Masciarelli has held on to his position there in 18th and looking to do some damage to Greg. In the meantime, let's see if Alex White has managed to gain any time on Bryan Mongrain. He has not. Masciarelli on a nice dice with Gregory Myers as we close down our session. Boy, tough section here through Fanias into Stadalo here in the wet. Front end just wants to wash away so badly. Back up to that 12th place battle, so let's check in with that. Oh, Marty Eiran has slipped off the back of Mike Greetrex, so Mike Greetrex holds on to that 11th position. Christian Hamilton, however, has driven away a little bit from Mike Greetrex as he has secured that P10. However, it's not going to be decided until they cross the line in these conditions. I think that looking at the spray, perhaps they've begun to there's a bit more moisture on track. It looked like track had dried out a little bit and offered a bit more grip, but I would say that at this point it has gotten a bit wetter out there. We can check in on the lap time and tell us pretty quickly. Andres Prieto last lap by 2 minute 30.4. His best lap at 2:28.9, and I would think that's quite a bit of time. I think a little bit extra water has fallen out there. So Marty Eiran's only a couple laps left here to try to secure that 11th place spot, and really that would be a nice run back up for Marty Eiran. All the way back down to 20th, has put in a nice showing here. No doubt getting a little bit of help with some attrition, but whoa, as he gets the Audi all wrong. Oh! Woo! Salem Montgomery Jr. did a great job avoiding the tail end of Marty Eiran. A great job by Marty to hold on to that thing. Marty is really loose out there. Has made some runs on Mike Greetrex, but has gotten it wrong. Nearly really getting it wrong, as now Salem Montgomery Jr. nearly runs it off track, and Tomas Schubeck says, I want some of this action. Tomas Schubeck must have given that position up to Salem Montgomery Jr. We saw Thomas there in the 13th position not too long ago, so boy, Marty Eiran really struggling in that Audi to hold that sucker on track, and quickly falling under pressure from Salem Montgomery Jr. and Tomas Schubeck here late in this running, and we see Mike Greetrex up there in the distance. Oh, Marty almost getting it wrong again. Oops. So this should be the last lap for these fellows. I think this is going to be a tense lap for Marty Eiran. Just hoping he holds on to that car for one more lap. It's one thing to do it when not under duress. It's hard enough in these conditions with an ailing race car. to even keep it on track, let alone when you're falling under some pressure from some determined competitors behind. Oh, we see a Ferrari. Oh, that had to be John Sportelli, giving John Houston a moment's pause. Got to check the defibrillator there. John Sportelli coming to a bad end up at Rouge, and he's going to be an important part of 05 Motorsports Run next week. Oh, as we see Marco Conti now. No, Marco Conti has reversed it onto the racing line. Oh, Marty Uren. Tough luck for Marty Uren. He's been struggling, holding on to that position. Went back early in the sprint race. Oh boy, I wonder if I see more fireworks in store on this battle. We have to hold on here for a second. Tomas Schubeck, really a nice move there, making sure that he doesn't endanger his fine starting spot for next week's feature race. Really was careful with Marty there. Boy, the way Marty Uren is struggling here, he could give that position back, but really ran into some bad luck there with Marco Conti coming off quickly, but that has moved Mike Greentrex back into the top 10. Just in case we've had some, well, can't see the timing and scoring now. We're going to stay on these battles as they come to the line. I can tell you, as this battle does come to that line, that Alex White has finished in the P5 position, was not able to get Bryan Mongrain, who finishes 4th. Mike Greentrex, last time through the bus stop, gets through there really slowly, kind of a tough entry, as Marty Uren now has slid off. Oh, Marty Uren just all over the place. Tomas Schubeck pushing for what he's worth, but just not quite going to be enough. But nonetheless, great run for Tomas Schubeck. He will start our feature event in 11th. 12th, actually. I think one of the guys in front of them disconnected. So, boy, what a fantastic run for some of those guys. Marco Conti did hang on to 12th. John Houston had a nice run back up to P13. Yeah, Matt Taylor, what a great run for Matt there, capping off a 14th place run. Gregory Myers should come home in 15th with Lou Masciarelli right on his bumper, so that was a good battle right at the end. And Brian Storey, nice run to 16th. Nice run for Brian Storey. Unfortunately, haven't been able to talk about teammate Kevin Miller, so... Oh, Brian, another broadcaster's curse. Don't think that'll allow Gup Douglas to squeak past, but a good run for Gup, really, because Gup was well and truly mired back there in the mid-20s, 24th, I believe, at one point, so nice run back up for Gup Douglas. And Dan Wilkerson will secure himself a nice spot. Chuck Carter as well, 16th for our feature event. And it looks like the rest of the guys have parked. Oh, Johnny Lugnuts, his struggles continue. Now out of fuel, so he will finish at the end of the lap that he was on. He may have been on the lead lap, not sure about that. In any event, that's going to do it. So Andres Prieto will take that pole position in our time session and take the win here in our qualifying session. So Andres Prieto has done everything possible that he could do to pick up points on Alex White and pick up points for Team Columbia. I believe that team classification now down to 3 points. 3 points in favor of course, our 05 Motorsports squad. So that's going to be an interesting battle to see how much John Sportelli can move up into those points, help out that 05 Motorsports squad. But it will be a long race. We have 2 hours here at Spa, and if the action we had here tonight is any indication, you could expect well, 400% more of it next week. So I cannot thank you enough for the viewers that hung around through our our technical problems and our horrible pictures here for the second part of this broadcast. We really appreciate you hanging on through that, and we'll certainly have those pictures cleaned up for you and be ready to go with our backup a bit more optimized for next week's event. So we should be able to get that one in for you. And again, we just thank you so much. We are going to sign off here tonight, but we really hope to see you around. Get your friends and family out as well if you can, because it's going to be a barn burner next week as we wrap up this season 20 championship. So thanks again, and we'll see you then. You'll actually have to struggle with me, as I had the broadcast from desktop.